Mentor recommends partnership, but are they really necessary for internet company? My mentor has not read and this is what I was a little concerned about, having a mentor with different business methods. He is suggesting that I form a partnership, but to me that isn't the way to go because it's a hassle and gives up control. On the other hand, I could get swamped and I don't have business experience, but I was just planning on outsourcing or automating the tasks if that happens and using Google of course. I want to get your opinions on this big decision. Has anyone been fine going this more alone route even as a person new to business? Thanks in advance. If both business partners have a valuable skill that brings value to the company, then I see having a partner would be the best choice. However, if the business partner brings nothing to the table, then there's no point in having a partner and giving up control. If such a partner can help grow the company, why not? Most of the bigger companies have partners. Does your mentor know business from your side of view? Try explaining it to him. But in the end it's ultimately up to you. Do you really need a partner? Write down the pros and cons of having a partner, then decide for yourself. Edit. Your partner has to be into the company as much as you. Great reply. Thanks. I explained some things to him from another perspective, so we will see what he says. If I were to find a great partner, it would of course be a great choice. It's just a matter of taking the time to find one and hoping things don't go bad. I'm planning to stick to what I think though and do some Google research too. You wouldn't be asking this question if your gut wasn't already screaming no. And you always listen to your gut. Partnerships can be great, but it's hard when both partners come from a position of weakness, no experience, no money, etc. Partnerships work great when both parties are in a position of power, past successes, experience, honed skills, money, no attachment. The way I set up my business allows me to partner on specific projects with partners, but I still have complete ownership of the main business. For example, a message therapist and candle company could create a relaxation weekend workshop where you get massages and sniff candles all day. Both own their own business, but create a revenue share or partnership on sales from the workshop. Yes, worst example I could think of. You may be right. The problem is that my gut is usually wrong. Lol. I feel like I could just be going into this all confident but have a major reality check down the road. But MJ did it alone as far as I'm concerned, which leads me to believe that I can too. That's an interesting way to do things. I'm thinking of just outsourcing instead of partnering. For example, I'd hire a part-time programmer to help along the way, but they wouldn't necessarily be a partner. Same with automating or systemizing things. I see what you're saying. You know what the worst part about having a partner is? If you make a decision at 2 a.m. or any time really and you're ready to go right then, you can't. You have to wait until the next day to discuss it with your partner. You should do what your mentor says. That's the whole point in having a mentor. If you don't trust him enough to do what he says, stop using him as a mentor. Well, he has only 1 year of experience and doesn't consider himself an actual mentor, but rather someone who will work with me on this. He's also pretty young and his business isn't exactly the type I want to run, so I can't really take all the advice from him. He's great for ideas and helping with stuff like connections, but I think I'm going to have to go with MJ here for the general strategies. There. Decision made. Bam. I know a lot of people will disagree with me here. A mentor is meant to guide you. You still have to make your own decisions. Following blindly is what sheep do. Remove the label of mentor from this person. He is a peer that you can bounce ideas off of. Nothing more. A true mentor teaches. He wants you to make your own decisions and mistakes. No, they don't want you to flat out ignore their advice. But they don't want you to do it just because they said either. Even if you are in the same industry, there comes a time everyone needs to go with their own version of things, and do something different. That's how innovations are made. No one knows everything. I'd how successful they are. Your gut is always right, but you gotta know how to listen to it. 2. It sounds like a bit of lack of confidence and fear of failure popping up. That is normal. Partnerships may solve that, but can create new problems. 3. I outsource almost everything. Start with onlinejobs.ph. 4. Here's one of my favorite quotes: live your life like the ball is already in the cup. In other words, if you knew you were already gonna be wildly successful beyond your dreams, how would you proceed? What would you do? How would you outsourcing or automating honestly sounds more like my cup of tea. I'll check out that website. I also hear it's a huge hassle to get out of partnerships. Sounds like divorce. Haha. I agree. I do want to run my business my way because that's what starts innovation. Thanks for your replies. Thought I'd update on this in case it helps someone. I decided that, because my mentor isn't exactly running the type of business I will be and only has a year of experience, I'm not going to do exactly what he said. Sorry if you ever read this, Kevin. This is also related to something MJ said, where you shouldn't follow in the footsteps of people who aren't running the business you want. You had the business I want, therefore I will follow in your footsteps. Most of the art websites I found do have co-founders, and I guess investors or VCs like to see two people running it, but as far as I know, MJ didn't have a partner. He created so much value that they didn't care. You can still get other people's input and talk to people if you're lonely without getting an official partner. From what it sounds, having a partnership is like marriage, and ending one is like going through a divorce. Sure, you're sharing the same vision, but I'm finding the presence of you guys and future customers to be plenty accompanying. Here's my 2. What are your mentor's expectations? If he or she is truly a mentor, they wouldn't ask for a partnership but rather an advisor role. In my experience, a mentor is definitely helpful. The question is, what can they bring to the table? Mentors in the startup scene often look for equity no more than is standard. I don't know your business, so I can't really give you clear advice. But I will tell you this: the best mentors I've come across are the ones willing to give you their time for free. What's hard is convincing them on why they should spend time with you. Edit. Just seen you entering the art niche. Are you B2C, B2B or B2B2C? He is advising that I find a partner, not him be a partner. From what I understand, I'm B2C. Thanks. I thought of bringing on a partner to help with my 3D printing marketplace, but I realized I could do everything I needed to do right now on my own. Granted, I have a wife that is helping me with my business and have her listed as a manager on the LLC registration form I just mailed out today. The point is, if we truly found someone else that loved what we are doing and we could tell they were passionate about it, we would consider bringing on an outside partner. I recommend not searching for a partner. When the time comes and you meet the right person, then ask that special person to be your partner. I'm glad you've been able to handle this all yourself. That gives me hope. Haha. I'm finding that the hardest parts have been building the website. I have complex needs lol and all the legal stuff. Hope I wasn't supposed to list my parents on my LLC forms. Well, thankfully I found a website designer that runs his own design firm. So I just tell him what I need and my wish pops up on the monitor lol. But depending on your budget, I know that can hinder options. Finding a designer and coder is easy. Finding someone that actually calls you, emails you daily, and really gets excited about your idea is the tough part. Just like a partner, if you find someone that is passionate about working with you, you will get good results. Edit, unless you're a coder yourself. I could have read that wrong lol. I just went to the Secretary of State's page and printed off the LLC registration form. Took me about 5 minutes to fill it out. Then just include a check, put it in an envelope and mail the bad boy off. I am in Texas, so it cost me $300 plus the postage. Lucky, I wish I could have that. Definitely a budget issue here. I actually heard that programmers don't usually want to join startups as they're in high demand and can work somewhere else for more money. Is he an actual employee with benefits and confusing government stuff, or just someone who's outsourced when you need it? I definitely agree with the whole hire for personality type thing. Nope, no coding here. Okay. I already did mine, but hopefully it was done right. I had my dad help, who has a small business. Nope, just outsourced. Well, he's in New Jersey, so I don't know if I could really say he is outsourced. With the confusing government stuff, just fake it until you make it. Lol. Oh, okay. Works for me. Where did you find him? Hope I don't get I'm looking into the free trial of Rocket Lawyer for terms or privacy policy and stuff, but I've read a majority of really bad reviews. Have you by any chance heard about or used it? I posted a job on Freelancer and had about 50 inquiries. I went with my gut and picked the guy that had no reviews and no completed jobs on his profile. Why? Because I first asked him why his price was so high on a video meeting, and in much detail gave me a rundown of everything. Things I have not even thought about he brought up. He explained everything in a way I could understand. I got a good vibe from him, and he was stateside, so that was A+. I'm the one who never takes a book by its cover. That's the shit I learned when I was in elementary. Lol. I wasn't about to hire someone who had the coolest profile page because that is just pure advertising. I haven't. I would skip all those middlemen and just do it yourself. Why pay taxes if you aren't going to use the services they provide yourself? Lol. That's interesting. I've just done some searching and found seemingly good people on Elance, but maybe I should post a job. I'd be willing to try something like that. Hope I too can find someone great. I tried. The privacy policy is good, but that dang terms and conditions is too long and confusing. Plus I can't just steal someone else's. Someone else from the forum used their free trial and got those both made. I'm just afraid about the complaints that say they got charged even after they cancelled the trial. Probably didn't do it right though. By the way, I like how you're doing something with the 3D printing industry. You'll be less likely to become outdated 5 years after starting. What do you need done, or expect from a partner? Where do your expertise falls? Maybe I can assist you in some manner. Who knows, we all have our own resources or skills. If you grew up fishing, you know it takes a while to get a good one. Freelancer. When you get a good one, it feels awesome. I started creating a product called Pack originally, and I was looking at purchasing a 3D printer so I could print out some prototypes, and I became obsessed about them. Lol. The moment I tried one, I fell in love with all the possibilities these machines were capable of. I started researching the industry and learned it was going to continue to grow as printers become cheaper and 3D printed objects start becoming more mainstream. I bought digital books and books at half a price and have just been immersed in the industry. Anything in the art sector I love, and 3D printing definitely tackles that love for art. Sounds like it's time for a weighted average decision matrix. I actually did not want to find a partner but rather outsource stuff. That is true. Well, I'm always on the lookout for programmers I can start testing out with small projects. That should help with finding a longer-term one. It looks like you have experience with products rather than website stuff, but maybe we can still help each other out. Awesome. It's definitely going to grow, that's for sure. Sounds like you got a great start. Hey, maybe I can use your business somehow in the future for artists on my website. Like 3D artwork with actual texture. Definitely. I am always open to working with like-minded people. 3D printing is an art in itself, so there are tons of applications in which you can do business. Cool. I'll keep your business in mind. Thanks for your replies. I actually own a software company and marketing or consulting company. So yeah, I definitely could help you out. And I don't need to be a partner unless you want to give me equity for my hard work. Kidding. So how may I help? Any questions? Oh wow, didn't know you did all that. Congrats. Bahaha. Would you mind if I pinged you? Probably better than loading up this thread. My mentor is pretty helpful with marketing, but programming is where I'm lacking. Perhaps I can give you help down the line too. Shoot. Great to observe your learnings through this thread. My 2C on partnerships is to pick them more carefully than you'd pick your wife. I've had 2 in the past, business partners not wives. Lol, and neither worked out. The most recent one ended really ugly, legal action blah blah blah. That said, I also find I achieve more in my business when I have a partner. Regards to outsourcing, I've had great experiences with Odesk. check them out as well. Haha. I agree, I've heard they're just like marriages or divorces. Wow, that's unfortunate, sorry to hear that. I have my mom helping me with the website, if you want to call that a partnership. I wouldn't mind having lots of people to talk to and have a good programmer, just not a formal partnership. Really? I've looked on there, but I've heard that it's gone downhill quality-wise. I found the best people on Elance. I've had multiple business partners and the majority of them have held me back. My last partnership ended pretty bad, and since then I do as much as I can on my own and hire anything I can't do. You should get used to hiring people anyway, because as an entrepreneur you will be hiring people all the time. I'm a full stack net and lamp developer, so I get lots of offers from entrepreneurs and wantapeenies who want me to be the chief technology officer of their company or whatever. I started a venture long ago with another co-founder of mine. After a few months in development, the entire project nearly went down the toilet. We had a clash of ideas and in the end we split our own ways. Like in a divorce, we each took our 50% and our belongings. He took his money, he was an investor, and I took all the intellectual property I worked on, which is what really matters anyways. Since then I have made it my habit to hire people instead when I need the help. If I absolutely need an investor or partner, then I make sure I am always incorporated and I set vesting schedules. If you don't have proper vesting schedules, then there is no incentive for your partner to work shit out with you if things don't go as he pleases. Now on the subject of using Odesk and Elance. I use those sites a lot. Overall these sites are good, but one problem I always come across is how hard it is to find a qualified, competent and reliable professional. When you post a new job on there, you are immediately bombarded with emails from people in other countries. Finding the right person is a bitch because you don't know who's bullshitting you and there's no way of filtering the ones who suck ass. This problem was so pervasive for me that I set out to create a new platform that addresses this issue. I'm currently working on a new platform called Profizio. Profizio will be an online outsourcing platform similar to Odesk and Elance that will take the stress out of having to filter through a massive list of unqualified people. It will connect the world's best developers and designers to employers who only want the best. I wasn't planning on announcing this project yet, but hey, WTF. I'm launching soon. Also, don't always listen to mentors. Sometimes they themselves don't know WTF they talking about. Just 'cause they're older doesn't mean they're wiser. And just 'cause they're successful doesn't mean they know how they became successful. As you become a more learned person, you will soon discover the difference between good advice and bad advice. Thanks for the reply. Yikes. That's unfortunate. I actually talked with someone on my progress thread and they said I should start with a profit-sharing setup for a programmer rather than an actual partnership. Then I could go on to equity if I like them. Sounds like a winning idea to me. I think I could get away with hiring for small projects in the beginning, but I'd like to find a consistent programmer to work with long term. I can see that with those websites. Haha. I haven't tried today. I actually came across which you should definitely check out. Your idea sounds awesome. Just make sure to find negatives about that website and use them. Some complain that you still need to know what you're doing and that the project manager part costs too much still. By the way, everyone, that mentor disappeared. Skeptical. I wonder if he saw this thread. Not exactly. If someone paid me a lot, I may even leave my own business to go work for them. I've left jobs for offers before. You all may say, why leave your own business or sell it to go work for someone else? There are perfectly good reasons why you would want to do that. Being part of something bigger, for instance. Like being a CTO at an up-and-coming startup making headlines. What is the business you are starting anyway? What do you need the programmer for? Personally, I wouldn't work for profits in a startup because most likely there will be no profits or very little. I guess a programmer would want to join because the potential is millions. Unlike a job, and the programmer would be massively helping make it successful. It's going to be unavoidable because I'm starting a website. It's going to be related to Etsy. I have a progress thread if you want to check it out. I don't want to burst your bubble, and I'm sure people on here will give me shit, but that's crap. I speak from experience. I have had many people offer me equity in their company in exchange for work. And I've taken those offers. To this date, no company I worked for equity made any real money. Especially those in tech. I want to give you an example, but I don't want to put people on blast. But I'll do my best to explain what I mean. I had a friend who came up with an idea for an app that is similar to Vine in 2009. Funny too, cause it even had a similar name to Vine. He came to me and asked me to be the lead developer in exchange for 33%. I said okay. I worked with him for about 7 or so months. I designed the prototype, we all got excited. We were networking, showing people our new product. We were rubbing elbows with people in high places. A company associated with Fox Network was even interested in doing some sort of collaboration with some new artist. 5 years later. Where is that app now? Dead. What is my 33% worth? Nothing. The app is so out of date it isn't even compatible anymore with the modern iOS. Equity is cool and all, but any smart person will know that for every successful company there are 9 that go bad. What you need to remember is that most people have an employee mindset. They don't really care about passive income or assets. This is good because all you need to do is just pay them money. Give them money and they will do their job. Don't give up equity when you don't have to. If your company does go big, then you keep as much equity as possible. Like Felix Dennis says in his book How to Get Rich. Thanks for letting me know from this perspective. How come it become dead if you were working on it too? I could see how some programmers would just want to be employees, which I guess is why even profit sharing wouldn't work for them. The reason I liked the equity or profit sharing model is because it's a way for me to afford programming since I couldn't pay a ton of money up front. I'm still not completely going to give up on this idea quite yet. There might be a young person with an entrepreneur mindset out there, and I have lots of people to choose from since my limits are the internet, not local. Sorry, I got the date wrong. It wasn't in '09, it was probably late 2010 or 2011. He was inspired by the movie The Social Network. Anytime someone watches a movie about a person who made it and gets inspired is a sign they are want a penis. The reason why it died was because things got stale. We had that initial momentum, but then we didn't know where else to go from there. The app didn't have a point to it. Apps were hot back then, the modern day gold rush. It was stupid. I have some advice on how to hire people without having much money and not giving up equity, but right now I got money. Millionaire. Lol. Okay, ha. Interesting. I see. Well, any advice helps at this point. I'd really like to eventually have an ongoing programmer on board though. That would be better than having my mum as my partner. Lol. Sorry mum. Ha, okay. That reminds me of SpongeBob. I don't think I have ever formed a partnership that I haven't regretted in the end. Perhaps I am just awful at choosing a business partner, but every time I am asking too much or being too nitpicky and the partner slacks off and doesn't meet my expectations, it makes things messy and it is a pain in the ass to deal with. I understand why you or your mentor would feel this route is successful, because it is awesome to have someone to talk strategies with and to plan for the future with and to help you with the workload. Eventually I just made some kick-ass friends all over the globe, both in person and through the World Wide Web, and they know everything about my business without being officially involved. Likewise, I know all about theirs, and we help each other because that way we get the perspective and support we need without giving up control or a portion of the company. At the end of the day, I always am happy to compensate them if they need it, but it is out of my appreciation and it isn't expected, which makes it more of a gift and it ends up working well that way. Interesting. I could see that happening. I agree. I did manage to find some forum buddies and it is in fact awesome. I actually have left the idea of a partnership now, but will still eventually need to find a long-term programmer. Not sure if that would be a co-founder. I hear investors prefer to buy companies with co-founders, but that's a different story. I still probably will keep my LLC though and not form an actual partnership. Awesome. Do you just hire people then to do the technical stuff? Generally we'll have a freelance team or some sort of local company work on it for me. For example, I need a website and logo done, and there is a really high quality company located in Detroit that is going to be working on them for me. They do some really solid work. They have similar modern taste that I do, and it is just a bonus that they are local. Then the freelancers get paid and the work gets done, but you don't have to worry about giving up equity for a limited amount of work, adding a programmer and running out of work for them to do, and just having them sit around as a co-founder would suck and be giving up a portion of equity or a position in the company that in the future is potentially worth 100 times more than the work itself. A prime example would be, I'll spare the details because I hardly remember them, an early-stage Microsoft shareholder that would be a multi-billionaire based on shares that at one point were nearly worthless. At least I believe it was Microsoft. That's convenient. I have been told that outsourcing like that is good for small infrequent projects, although you have to have the money up front. I suppose the hardest part would be hiring before your business makes money though. After that, you can just reinvest the profits and pay for another freelancer. That is true. Not sure how often the programmer would be needed. I do like the idea of finding someone who's also business-oriented though, so they could help with other things like brainstorming or creative problem solving, or maybe even have several jobs, but that might be too much. Don't want to overwork anyone. Thanks for giving me something to think about. I'll have to show this thread to the original person who I talked to about this and see his opinions. There still might be another agreement I can reach. Partners have tossed and turned about whether to bring in a partner, investors, etc. Instead I went the franchise way so that I could still be the decision maker for the business, but now have people invested in my business with the same mind frame of wanting it to succeed. I might have quicker growth with investors, but I am not interested in quick growth. Instead, long-term stable business that is around in the future. Trusting yourself 4 years into my business, I am now really utilizing this and trusting that little voice and feeling inside. I would get caught up in people telling me this is how you do this, or this is how it's done, and it didn't feel right. Now when it doesn't feel right, I look at it in the complete opposite of what others are telling me, and I usually go this way, and with great success. In hindsight, the people I had been listening to were slowlaners. I have learned that slowlaners are quick to give advice when not asked, while fastlaners are happy to provide info if asked but are rarely the ones blabbing about how you should do things. Good idea. I agree with you. I definitely need to decide when to take the advice I hear. Haha. That's an interesting pattern. I think I might have noticed that too. Thanks for the reply.